I want to make an oral statement in connection with the issue of the Natural Resources Sectoral Committee not having powers to summon companies and or persons like Exxon to ask questions of them. The AFC wishes to state that a previous committee's decision cannot fetter the decision of another committee. It has been brought to the attention of the AFC that there may have been a decision by the Natural Resource Committee in the year 2024, 21st of July, at a sitting, that indeed they did not want to call in, I think, by Shanlin and or Exxon, but to rather go and visit these two companies. And that minute, it appears, is now being used as precedent for the fact that they cannot call in Exxon or Baishanlin or Rongyu or whatever the company that has to deal with natural resources in Guyana, that they should not call in these private companies for questioning. The precedent is set, and the law is in relation to these summoning of witnesses and summoning of companies already very clear in our standing orders, whereby these various sectoral committees and standing committees have the power to call in companies or companies' CEOs and so on. And it is rather strange that now, when our Natural Resources Committee, as it presently exists, that is the 2024 one, have to be bound by some decision of a previous committee, I think it was 10 years before. Yeah, 2014, 21st of July 2014, sorry. So I want us to understand that Exxon too is not necessarily a private company as is. It is a licensee to go into our ocean to take oil up. And for that reason, it is like but a unit of government to the extent of being an agent of government for the extraction of a resource that belongs to the government and people of Guyana. And so now to have a situation creating the precedent that we can't call them for questioning is going to degut the standing orders and those sectoral committees of the powers that they have, first of all given by the Constitution, and secondly by the standing orders. And so the AFC is making the statement that we cannot derogate by this manner the power to summon or deny the sectoral committee the power not to summon. It is important that we understand that everybody must be accountable, everybody must be scrutinized, who have natural resources as the basis of their agreements with government, and be they companies or even persons. And it is important that that be understood. We must not be fettered by the discretion of a previous committee. And that is how the law should operate. And so if the present committee would like Exxon to be called in, Exxon ought to listen, because there is a power to penalize if you do not come. And one cannot use the precedent of a Odinga Lumumba chairmanship to come out of it in that regard. The government of Guyana always talk about accountability and transparency and scrutiny. How could they now avoid it and evade it by virtue of a certain precedent some 10 years ago? And plus, the thing is not a change or an alteration that we did in any AFC coalition government as is being alleged. I have spoken to both the Speaker and also in 2014, Mr. Raphael Trotman, and also the clerk. And we seem not to have anything in writing that changed the standing orders. So we should not gallop into a region that is going to create a very unruly horse or a slippery slope on this issue of stating emphatically and across the board, a carte blanche, as it were, that we cannot call these companies to account in the relevant parliamentary committees that we have created under the Constitution for purposes of scrutiny.